Hello, my name is Juan Carlos Melgar. I'm an associate professor with Clemson University. I'm a researcher and an extension specialist. And this video is for those of you that might be thinking in a research internship, maybe wondering if research is something that you could be interested or if it's something for you. And so in this video, I want to show you or I want to talk to you about how to identify potential research mentors. Uh, we can talk about what to expect when joining a research lab, how to begin developing those research skills, and how to start building confidence in asking questions to your mentor, to your lab collaborators. I lead a project, a USDA project, where we offer internships to undergraduate students that have an interest in research and or extension. And so in this project, we always choose like 8 students every year. And so our participants have to choose among different labs, first at Clemson, and then among 10 matching labs in Spain, abroad. And so in our program, we always do an overview over a couple of days where they meet everyone in person and through Zoom for at least 15, 20 minutes, plus some time with graduate students also and visiting the labs. And this is because this is something essential when thinking of who could be a potential research mentor. You need to get to know what they do. Sometimes you could, what attracts a student could be a topic, a specific topic that you are interested in. Sometimes it can be, the knowledge or the charisma of a professor that you have had in class. But sometimes it's also the teamwork dynamics that you see in a lab. So all these are valid reasons. And only when you get to know the people, when you talk to them, when you see what they are doing, it's when you can get an idea of, yeah, this is for me, or maybe I should continue talking to other people. Of course, the alignment of your goals to or your potential career opportunities or potential career thoughts should align with that group that you're thinking of. But in any case, despite of the reason, once you know a lab that could be of your interest, or you narrow down to your top labs, again, it's the time where you have to talk and listen and ask questions. And I'm thinking of talking and listening to your research mentor or your potential research mentor, and also to current and or past graduate or undergraduate students. I mean, they are the ones who can give you more clues and more thoughts and comments about what's like being in a lab like that. What can you expect when you join a research lab? That's another big question, especially for those students that have never had an experience, like an internship, for example, in a research lab. If you haven't had any previous experience, it is very normal. Expect to feel unease or nervous about it. Again, that's very normal. Students normally feel like they're going to break something or going to mess up an experiment. But even though those kind of thoughts are normal, do not worry too much. We all can break glassware. We all can make a mistake when using a reagent or following a protocol or whatever. And we just start over. That's science. But again, I'm saying not to worry too much, because first of all, they're not going to leave you unsupervised or let you use very expensive equipment until you and they are very comfortable with those measurements, and they're very comfortable with you taking those measurements. So that's something that, you're not going to break anything, or you're not going to do anything. They're not going to let you do anything wrong. On the contrary, you're going to gain experience little by little. But again, it feels normal. I've had several students saying like, I feel anxious, like I don't want to break anything. I don't want to mess up a graduate student project. Yeah, you'll be fine. Also, expect to feel like you don't know enough. That's also normal. And I would say even if you continue in this career, in a research career, get used to it. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I mean, even professors sometimes feel like they don't know enough, and that's actually good because that's what drive us uh, to continue improving. No? That feeling at certain doses is actually good. Um, but I don't know. It is common for people to feel like I think I don't know enough. So, but what I can guarantee you is that if you are at that point where you are, um, no matter if you are an assistant professor or a graduate student or an undergraduate student, if you got there, if you are at that lab, you know enough to start. You know enough to do. It's a matter of you're going to need to continue reading papers, you're going to need to continue asking questions, and you're going to need to continue improving your knowledge, but you have already the competencies to do it at that level. Okay, so yes, you study, you improve your skills, you practice until you feel comfortable with it, but if you have got there, you're going to be able to do it. Then something really good, expect to get hooked on research and fall in love with that research topic. Or maybe sometimes, I mean, discover that that research topic is not for you. That happens sometimes. I mean, you can love doing research, but maybe that specific topic is not for you. But and you know that you want to study something else. But that requires more of that talk and listen and talk and listen and repeat. Um, but that's something that happens, and that it is also good. That happened to me. I mean, when I was an undergraduate student, I was in a genetics lab for a year, and then I realized that that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to work on pomology and fruit trees, and so I changed lab, and my entire career had continued that way. So it is also very normal. In some cases, as I was saying, it's not the topic. It is more like the people in the lab what makes you continue. I've heard that from people before within a career or with a career in research. It was the lab dynamics what I love the most of that lab, and that got me hooked into research. So that is perfectly fine as well. If you are in maybe a person that loves working within a team, that likes constructive efforts and interactive dialogues and working with farmers, and in case of combining research and extension, those relationships are really identity of what we do in research and extension. So those are the characteristics of some labs and research projects. And you sometimes, I mean, or often you cannot find that in other environments. Sometimes, I don't know, in the industry, for example, they have a completely different dynamics. And so the fact that you love how that teamwork dynamics work could be also a clue that you are liking, working in a research lab, like doing research at a university. So all those are very valid reasons for choosing a lab as well. Now, about how to begin developing those skills, I would say working with this team of people, working with graduate students, working with technicians, other than the meetings with your mentors or the time that you spend with your mentor in the lab. But it is often those graduate students and technicians in the lab that spend so much time in the lab, the ones who are going to train you with many little things, with many steps. Of course, your mentor is going to be there, but working with them and keeping a good relationship with them, I think it's the key to start developing all those skills. Of course, again, there is presentations to attend, especially whenever there is a thesis presentation or a seminar in your lab, or those lab meetings. All those help you see other people and how they do, and that's how you also start developing those skills. No? But it's the working day to day with them that really helps you develop them. And I always the last point I wanted to talk about, it's how to build confidence in asking questions to your mentors or asking questions to anybody in your lab. Sometimes it takes time, and certainly is something that you can also train. I always tell my graduate students, make the effort to ask one question every time you are in a seminar or in a thesis, a presentation, or something like that. I mean, if you think of the work that a moderator would do in those meetings, you know, whenever the presentation ends, they always say, like, is there any question, or time for questions? And sometimes people are shy and there are no questions. And then the moderator has to say, okay, well, I have a question, blah, 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 blah. You know, and these moderators are thinking, well, during the presentation, how about if nobody's asking any questions? I better have something planned, right? So if you do that several times, or kind of like get used to do it, like do the effort of thinking, what could I ask? Out of what I'm hearing, is there anything that I would like to ask? After some time, it will become natural. And it's not that you have to be asking a question, you know, every time, but it's going to become natural to ask a question to somebody that is talking to you about something. And so for those of you that could have a, you know, struggle a little bit when asking questions, it's going to become more natural after some time. Of course, you probably are going to get papers from your mentor, your main advisor. You're going to read them, well, then ask questions. Same thing when a graduate student, for example, is showing you how to run certain procedure or something like that. Think of, okay, you know, not only what am I going to need, and I need to ask a question about that, but try to you know, be curious, because it can start a lot of interesting conversations between you and these people and students and technicians or your mentors. So I hope all these little clues help you a little bit in those first steps on how to start selecting a lab, how to start working in a lab, creating those relationships, which again are very essential when joining a research lab or after joining a research lab. And also these expectations that you may have or that you may not have. And hopefully these clues help you understand how it is normal to feel that way. So you can expect that. In any case, if you have any questions or you want to talk to me about any of these or anything else, my email is jmelgar, MELGAR, at Clemson, CLEMSON.edu. And best of luck with everything. Bye.